Hence, we are beginning the show once again on All Z Network, also on WION, which is the global network channel from India. Again, thank you for your love and affection. See you soon at Subhash Chandra Show.
Hello and welcome. You're watching WION The World is One with me, Ananya Datta. Here's what we have lined up in this edition of Race to Power. Indian voters have pulled a surprise. The BJP has not reached the majority mark, let alone the ambitious target. The opposition camp has made some unexpected gains, but the question is, what's next? South Africa is proof everything is fair in love, war and power. Friends turned foes are looking to become friends again. We are talking about the ANC and the MK party. We tell you who is bargaining what. Starting this broadcast with the latest after an unexpected election result in India, the focus is now on the deliberations. Both the NDA and the India bloc met in the capital city, and at the NDA meeting, all members praised the Prime Minister's leadership. All eyes were on Andhra Pradesh Chandrababu Naidu and Bihar's Nitish Kumar. Two leaders whose support is crucial for the NDA alliance. Strategically enough, they were placed right beside Narendra Modi, indicating the BJP's dependence on their support at the moment. Together, Naidu's TDP and Nitish Kumar's JDU make up 28 seats of the 293-seat tally of the NDA alliance. The ruling party needs Naidu's support at the centre, but he does not need them in the state. Andhra Pradesh has 25 seats in the lower house of the parliament, and Naidu's TDP has bagged 16 seats on its own. The BJP has just 3 seats from the state.
You're part of the NDA, sir.
Sir, how can we contest elections if you are not a part of NDA? 3 parties combined we collected. Why you got that doubt, I don't know.
Bihar has 40 seats in the lower house of the parliament. Nitish Kumar's flip-flop just before elections from India Alliance to the NDA made the state crucial, and the JDU has put up a better show than expected. It has tied with the BJP's tally at 12, so Nitish Kumar has the option of forming an alliance with other parties for a better edge. The other camp, the India bloc that had been called fractured before the elections, has 232 seats. The India bloc held its meeting with Congress's Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and Sonia Gandhi. The Aam Aadmi's Raghav Chadha, Shiv Sena's UBT's Sanjay Raut and Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav among other leaders who attended the meeting. Now to take this further, we are being joined by Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. He is a senior Congress leader and 3-term parliamentarian. Dr. Singhvi, thank you so much for joining us here on WION. You know, I've been tracking your comments since yesterday very closely, and you did not want to speak before the India bloc meeting takes place in New Delhi. It has concluded now. What can you tell us?
No, I did not say that I can reveal to you what are the internal decisions of the India bloc apart from what they will publish shortly. There will be a statement coming officially shortly. But I can tell you that Of course, first and foremost, my heartiest congratulations to whoever has formed the government, to the Prime Minister, to the BJP, in case they form the government. But what I had said yesterday was that these are clearly the whole election having been held right from day one of the Prime Minister, by the Prime Minister, for the Prime Minister. It was a referendum on him. And if that referendum yields 239, 240, it is clearly a rejection referendum. You cannot then suddenly discover the crutches of very recent, earlier divorced, second-time married partners or third-time married partners like, Nitish and Chandrababu Naidu. So it's only a very fragile arrangement.
Right.
Good luck to them if they are able to form a stable thing. But I was only emphasizing that this is a very clear verdict against arrogance and invincibility, and that's the real point.
Dr. Singhvi, that brings me to my next point. Is the India bloc looking to speaking to Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar?
We have said, I in fact said yesterday before the meeting, and I can safely repeat that without going to the nitty-gritty, because at the moment there is nothing official between these parties and us, and therefore it's not right for me. But it is very clear that all those, not only these two ends, but all those who believe that our idea of India is correct, our idea of the constitutional ethos and spirit is correct, our idea of how to promote development is correct, would always be welcome. And it is not to say that there is any parlays going on, any agreements, but yes, in principle, and many of them have been with us in the recent past or otherwise. So it's not something extraordinary which I'm saying, but of course, it's their choice, it's their decision, and I cannot report anything, above that or different from that.
All right, Dr. Singhvi. Now, the numbers that we have, the India bloc has got 232 seats this time. Interestingly, among this, 92 seats are coming from Congress. I want to ask you, why do you think the voters stopped short of giving the India bloc a majority?
Well, if you see clearly, the one chunk, the Naidu chunk, for example, was counted in others, in a sense, non-NDA, non-UPA or non-India. So clearly, while they rejected the Narendra Modi model, I think we came up short in two areas. One was the Odisha and one was possibly Andhra Pradesh. So I think the people were balancing. The people were balancing, saying, look, you cannot have this kind of a government. They were not, obviously, it depends from state to state. It doesn't, the verdict is not a single state verdict. But the kind of rejections you've had from Maharashtra, from Uttar Pradesh, from West Bengal, from Rajasthan, and you only held back onto your earlier basic states like Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, where you can't gain anything. The only two real surprise ones have been Odisha and the Andhra Pradesh. And really, Andhra Pradesh is not BJP at all. You can hardly call it BJP. It's okay. It's a pre-declared alliance. But it's really something which the people felt required a far greater degree of consensual, collegial discussion, not the Modi style of working.
Right. But I know I'm going back to a point that you have already talked about. But since you brought up Naidu and how you say that he was seen as non-NDA, in just few minutes before, he made a statement that he's standing with the NDA, even after the results, even knowing very well that he is the kingmaker. How do you react to that then?
See, the story doesn't begin or end here. The story ends after I tell you that I am with you, but on what terms? Those terms have to suit both you and me.
So what kind of terms is Congress or the India bloc willing to give?
The marriage contract is being drawn up as far as he's concerned. Let us see the terms of the contract, whether they suit both the parties or not.
Right. We understand that. I'm asking you, Dr. Singhvi, then what kind of terms do you think the India bloc can actually propose?
No, that is not a question. That is not a question capable of answering today.
All right.
Today he has declared a certain status. Let it work out. And I don't think we are in that kind of bargaining. I think we are very clear. You have to have a certain clear inclination to consider this idea of governance, this idea of India, this idea of the constitution. Then we can talk out those terms. And if it doesn't work out with the other side, then I'm sure something like that will happen in the near future.
All right, before I let you go, in the immediate future, how do you think this national election in India changes the political course in the country?
Oh, tremendously, tremendously. I mean, on that, there is no doubt. I think it first and foremost shows that the only people who have the cat's whiskers are the people. Not you, not me, not Mr. Modi, not the Congress. The people are Janta Sab Janti Hai. I think it is clearly a verdict against arrogance, against infallibility, against unilateralism, against a dictatorial approach. It is a verdict against divisiveness, religious, social. It is a recognition of the federal nature of the country. It's an aggregation of the results of many states. And I repeat that since it was made into a referendum on himself by Mr. Modi himself, well then clearly there is neither a Modi wave plus a clear rejection on that referendum. You may have got the seats to form 272 on the crutches of other people, but the referendum is against you.
All right, Dr. Singhvi, thank you so much for speaking with us here on WION. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, let's shift focus now. NOTA has made its presence felt in the battle of power in India. NOTA is short for none of the above. It is a provision given to the voters in India in case they do not want to choose any of the candidates fielded by the political parties. In Madhya Pradesh, Indore, NOTA polled a record 2.18 lakh votes, turning out to be the nearest competitor of victorious BJP candidate Shankar Lalwani. NOTA was chosen over the BSP candidate Indore passed the record set in 2019 elections by Bihar. Remember, in Gopalganj, over 51,000 voters chose the NOTA option that year. Let's tell you which regions had the highest NOTA vote share this time. Bihar, the state that has become crucial this time, voted for the maximum NOTA option. A little of 2% of the votes cast, people chose NOTA, followed by Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, where a little of 2% people voted for NOTA. Then came Gujarat, followed by Madhya Pradesh. In each of these states, about 500,000 NOTA votes were polled. Tripura came close to Madhya Pradesh, where 1.41% people chose for NOTA, and that's a vote share of 1.41%. Overall, the NOTA share is 0.99% this time. This is a sharp rise from 0.6% in 2019 polls. The NOTA concept was first implemented in India in the year 2013. Experts say that it has no consequences on the results in India. You see, if the highest number of votes in any seat polled was for NOTA, the candidate with the second highest votes is declared the winner. Indian stocks surged to recover strongly on Wednesday after erasing $386 billion in market value in the previous session. Analysts are looking beyond the election results but warn of volatility and more losses. The Sensex index surged over 2.300 points to end at 74,382. And the broader Nifty closed nearly 3.4% higher at 22,620. Now the Sensex and Nifty opened in the green, but extreme volatility was on display in early deals. But both indices closed over 3% higher, and this comes a day after nearly $400 billion were wiped off the Sensex index. Risks are still at play with many uncertainties about the formation of a Narendra Modi-led coalition government, and still the run-up on Wednesday points to a strong recovery. Analysts say Indian stocks will look past the uncertainty caused by elections as the nation's earnings and economic stories are still intact. Goldman Sachs Group strategist, including Sunil Kaul, wrote, and I'm quoting, "We remain constructive of Indian equities and see this weakness as an opportunity to accumulate." However, the bloodbath on Tuesday was driven by tallies that showed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling party struggling to win a majority of seats in national elections. And this is a stunning result after exit polls showed he was on pace for a landslide victory. Investors raised questions about the new government's ability to push through politically difficult reforms with a thin margin. These reforms are seen as crucial to sustain India's economic growth, already the world's fastest. A strategist at UBS said, as BJP does not have a simple majority, the bargaining power shifts materially within the alliance. Further said, most scenarios from here could be taken negatively by the market compared to expectations last week. Nonetheless, some investors are banking on continuity in the government's infrastructure and manufacturer-led drive to boost growth. Now, Chief Asia strategist at Bank Pictet said, and I'm quoting, "I still think the policy direction of Modi will likely stay, which should support India's economy in the longer term." Now, those thoughts were echoed by other analysts too. As volatility eased on Monday, India's volatility indicator, the VIX index, a gauge of 30 days, slumped more than 20%. And this comes after the index surged to more than a 2-year high just on Tuesday. The rupee traded near a record low touched in April after falling by the most in a year in the previous session. Strategists at Morgan Stanley wrote in a note, and I'm quoting, "We expect realized and implied volatility to EBB in the coming days from its level on June 4th. They added that the ruling alliance has passed the halfway mark and is likely to form the next government. Let's shift focus now. South Africa's African National Congress is in a tricky situation after losing its 2/3 majority in the parliament. The party has been forced to form a coalition to regain power in the country. Now, there are widespread talks that the ANC is likely to form a coalition with the centre-right Democratic Alliance, DA, which won 22% of the vote. However, this is not going to be an easy feat. Some of the top ANC officials have rejected this partnership, saying working with DA will be an insult for freedom fighters. Critics accuse the DA of trying to protect the economic privileges of the country's white minority, which was prevalent during apartheid. The Democratic Alliance denies these accusations, and on Tuesday, ANC officials held a meeting to deliberate the election results so that it could plan the way forward. The party's highest decision-making body, the National Executive Committee, held a crucial meeting earlier today and said that it wants a national unity government.
At this point in time, the conversation is looking at the government of national unity, because this is what the people of South Africa have said to us, that put together a multi-party arrangement that works for the benefit of South Africa.
The ANC, which led the fight to free South Africa from apartheid, won just 159 seats in the 400-member National Assembly with a vote share of just over 40%. The Pro-Business Democratic Alliance, also known as DA, won 87 seats, and the MK, a new party led by President Cyril Ramaphosa's better rival, the former President Jacob Zuma, took 58, and the Economic Freedom Fighter, a Marxist-Leninist party led by the ousted ANC youth leader Malema, took 39 seats in polls. Our correspondent Kaldin Ongmu has more on this.
Coalition talks and meetings are on. ANC said they have met with DA, IFP, EFF, NDP and PA so far. They said they have repeatedly reached out to Zuma's MK party for a meeting, but they haven't received any positive response. ANC says the door remains open for all political parties that is keen to positively contribute to move South Africa forward. In the last 2 days, there has been talks of ANC likely to go to bed with DA, but not everyone is happy with that. Some say the best pairing for South Africa would be ANC, EFF and IFP. Meanwhile, Zuma has demanded a rerun or recount of last week's election, claiming they were not fair. The former president has hinted that MK could reject its 58 parliamentary seats as a form of protest against the results. This is Kaldin Ongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa for WION The World is One.
Let's go across the United Kingdom now. The two leaders of Britain's top political parties, Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, faced off for the very first time in a live TV debate on Tuesday. The debate comes a month before voters cast their ballot on July 4th. While Labour's Keir Starmer sought to solidify his position as the front-runner, Conservative leader Rishi Sunak sought to improve his party's bleak prospects. In the heated debate, the two leaders battled over how to tackle the cost of living crisis, waiting list in the public health service and reducing immigration.
In their DNA, This election is about the future, and I'm clear that I'm going to keep cutting people's taxes, as we now are. You want to put everyone's taxes up by £2,000, and this is really important. Independent Treasury officials have costed Labour's policies, and they amount to a £2,000 tax rise for every working family. No, this is important. Mark my words. Labour will raise your taxes. It's in their DNA. Your work, your car, your pension.
Thank you. OK,
you name it, Labour will tax it.
We will raise specific taxes, and we've been really clear what they are. We've already dealt with the tax break on private schools. We want to end the non-dom status completely. I think that the super rich should be paying their tax. I want to get rid of the equity loopholes that are there, again, for the super rich. And I think the oil and gas companies should be paying their fair share towards our energy. So we will raise those, but we won't raise the others.
Furthermore, Sunak said that he would stop people from making dangerous and perilous journeys to the UK in small boats by sending asylum seekers on a one-way trip to Rwanda, and also suggested that he would be willing to take the United Kingdom out of the European Convention on Human Rights if its court blocked the deportations. On the other hand, Starmer dwelled on the Conservatives' record during 14 years in power, especially the chaotic last few years, which saw Prime Minister Boris Johnson ousted amid financial and ethics scandals. Just on Tuesday, the debate comes a day after Nigel Farage on Reform UK announced that his plans to join the race for 10 Downing Streets were clear. The decision, which could further hamper the Tories' election bid, as it is already trailing Labour in opinion polls. The United States is holding its presidential elections in 5 months. Just ahead of a potential Biden-Trump rematch, the incumbent president enforced new migration restrictions on Tuesday. The new rules passed by the Biden administration essentially states that people caught illegally crossing the US-Mexico border could be denied the right to claim asylum. Moreover, the immigrants will also be swiftly deported or turned back to Mexico. The latest measures on curbing illegal immigration take effect immediately. However, according to reports, the new laws include exceptions for children who are unaccompanied, for individuals facing serious medical or safety threats, and also victims of trafficking. The move has received mixed response from rights groups and immigrants in the country.
Well, I could say my opinion would be there's sometimes where people, us from immigrants just want to cross and just do like bad stuff, probably like steal. I don't know, like sometimes you just want to cross to do things they're not supposed to.
One part is more or less okay, but the other isn't, because it's the immigration who make the economy of the United States. Many of them do the jobs that nobody else wants to do. I think they should only restrict those who come here to do bad.
Human rights groups have slammed Joe Biden, accusing him of adopting Trump-like policies and toughening his stance on the migrant crisis by backtracking on US's legal obligations to asylum seekers.
What our community needs is pathway to citizenship. We need an immigration reform, and we are against any legislation that criminalizes our people and that tears families apart. And so what we need is actually something that will, in fact, uplift our immigrant community who is contributing to our economy. And so we need to create better pathways to citizenship.
That HCR 2060 is not a solution to any problem. It only creates problems in our communities. It will create racial profiling and harassment that will result in lawsuits, broken families, and resentment towards the politicians and political party that forced it on my community.
The newly enforced asylum ban comes at a time when cross-border arrests have reached new highs. In April itself, US authorities arrested over 4,300 per day on an average, much higher than the previous average of 2,500. And with that, we are wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta.
Namaste. Hello, friends. We did Dr. Subhash Chandra show, popularly known as DSC show, for 4 years, from August 2014 to August 2018. 28 states of Bharat. Of course, we reached out to all of you in 190 countries across the world. The show was very successful. Each episode was being watched by almost 25 million people every week. For past 6 years, the demand of the show has never died down. People write to us, people ask for the show to restart again. Hence, we are beginning the show once again on All Z Network, also on WION, which is the global network channel from India. Again, thank you for your love and affection. See you soon at Subhash Chandra Show.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at yowon.com.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New